שיוויתי הוויה לנגדי תמיד. שיוויתי הוויה לנגדי תמיד. הוויה, 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 אהבה, 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 הוויה, 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 אהבה, אהבה, אהבה. שיוויתי הוויה לנגדי תמיד. שיוויתי הוויה לנגדי תמיד. הוויה, 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 אהבה, 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 הוויה, 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 אהבה, אהבה, אהבה. שיוויתי הוויה לנגדי תמיד. שיוויתי הוויה לנגדי תמיד. הוויה, 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 אהבה, 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 הוויה, 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 אהבה, 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 הוויה, 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 אהבה, אהבה, אהבה. שיוויתי הוויה לנגדי תמיד. שיוויתי הוויה
Shabbat Shalom. Nice to see all of you this evening. It's always good to get good numbers when we have a speaker. We do have a speaker this evening. I want to say a couple things before we begin, because, well, there There are a couple other things that we need to talk about tonight, one more lengthily than the other. This is I lost track of the number and I meant to look it up. What anniversary of Kristallnacht are we observing? 86, I think, yeah? Yeah. So in memory of Kristallnacht, I'll probably say just a few words to remind us all what Kristallnacht was. We're going to take out our Holocaust Torah, and I'm just going to read a few verses from it. We're not going to do like a full Kriya or anything like that, but just in memory of Kristallnacht, we'll do that. And I thought a bit about the next thing I want to say, but we need to talk a little bit, at least a little bit, about what happened in Amsterdam yesterday. And so before I introduce our speaker, I have a letter that I, along with tens of thousands of other people, received from the hand of Jonathan Greenblatt, who is the executive director of the Anti-Defamation League. We have to talk about what happened, because what happened yesterday was a game changer in several obvious ways. And then I'll introduce our speaker, and that will be the basis of our service. I'll say again, I did make a transliteration after weeks of promising it of the Amidah, which oddly is not transliterated in our Siddur. So if those of you who need it, have it, and please return it to the table. I've said this already twice now, so I don't have to duplicate 20 more copies every week. So we'll begin. Shabbat Shalom. Let's change it up a little bit. We'll start right away with the candle lighting. Debbie? And she would like us to say the bracha with her, and then we'll sing it after she says it. Wait a second, let me turn this on. Do the lighting for me. You light the candles first.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahad lekner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu Lehad likner shel Shabbat. It's been a week. Amen.
Amen.
The actors should probably not explain too much about what goes on behind the scenes, but Jeff and I invited Jeff, and he gladly accepted my invitation to be on the bima with me just this evening. So we usually have a shared piece of paper between us, and totally my responsibility. We don't have that, but I don't think it's gonna matter very much. But I'll probably be saying things to Jeff throughout the service, like turning songs over to him. So that's why we're usually much more professional.
Everything will be a surprise for me, right?
Yeah, it'll keep Jeff on his toes, which is always a good thing. I'm happy to say that between several of our Chazanut folks, I have accompaniment on the bima through the end of the year, and then we'll try and get them to, and then we'll do it again through next year. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom,
Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
I didn't, I want you to help me do that. When I don't sing, even when Jeff is singing, I want to be able to hear you. One more round. Shabbat.
Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Let's see what we got here. I'm not going to direct you to a page. Hopefully, many of you know this. Esa'enai el heharim me'ayin yavo ezri.
Esa'enai el heharim me'ayin yavo ezri.
I lift up my eyes to the heavens. Where comes my help? My help comes from Adonai, maker of the Oseh Shamayim, the maker of heaven and earth. Esa'enai el heharim me'ayin yavo ezri. Esa'enai el heharim me'ayin yavo ezri. Ezri mein Adonai Oseh Shamayim va'aretz. Ezri mein Adonai Oseh Shamayim va'aretz. Hine ma tov. Hine ma tov
u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Yiddi Nefesh, either page 7 or the transliteration is on page 9. Yiddi Nefesh Avarachaman, Yiddi Nefesh Avarachaman, V'shocha Abdecha, Eretz Onecha, V'shocha Abdecha, Yalalai Eretz Onecha, Yarotz Abdecha, Kemoya, Yishtachavel Alai, Yalalai Adarecha, Yarotz Abdecha, Kemoya, Yishtachavel Alai, Yalalai Let's do Shalom Aleichem, page 13. I'm going to ask you a question, and see how, let's see how good your eyes are. There's something different in the first verse of Shalom Aleichem from the remaining 3 verses. And see if you can tell me what they are at the end of the song. Shalom Aleichem Malachei
Haaretz,
Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei
Malachim Kakadosh Baruch Hu.
Bochem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nile Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei
Malachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Seichem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So who sees the difference? Yeah. That's right. Yeah, and I have no idea why that is. I've never dug deep into finding out, but there's a difference. But let's continue with Lecha Dodi, where we welcome the Sabbath bride, page 41. This is all yours, Jeff. Well, I mean, I'll sing with you.
You need the lead. I don't know this that well.
Okay. I beg your pardon. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, Ushmo echad, Leshem ultiferet v'lihila, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki mekor ha'baracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh v'machashava techila, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Page 47. And remember, we have this custom of rising and turning to the rear for the last verse. Don't wait for me to invite you to please to be seated. Just have a seat after that's done. Top of page 47. Yamin u'shmol tifrosi, v'et Adonai taritzi, al yad ish ben parsi, v'nismecha v'nagila, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'b'sala, Toch emunei am segula, Boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Page 55. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah B'yama divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayedecha beit Yisrael B'agala, b'agala u'v'zman kariv imru Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam u'olmei almaya Yitbarach Yitbarach ve'yishtabach V'yitpoar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalam Shemei dekudisham Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tush bechata v'nechemata Damiran b'yanuma v'yimeru Amen. Am I awake?
Sure,
All right.
I am.
Please rise. This is what we do as part of the Baruch Hu.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Bareku et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed Le'olam va'ed Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai.
Please be seated. So to remind you, the opening two prayers are partners with each other. The first one, the Ma'ariv Aravim, teaches us that God, in some mysterious way, is in control of the universe, and the universe is a steady thing. We can count on the universe day and night, and planets and stars, and the rotation of the earth. We understand that. And in our greater understanding of the physics of the universe, do we have greater understanding of the nature of God. And the second one is about God loving Israel. And so, that is the challenge for us, to continually explore the covenant between us and God, its meaning, and how we implement its meaning. So the first prayer ends, Uma avir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzavaot shemo, El chai v'kayam tamidim locha aleinu li'olam va'ed, Baruch Ata Adonai HaMa'ariv Aravim. So let's look at this reading on 61 by Rami Shapiro. We are loved by an unending love. Let's read this together. We are loved by an unending love. We are embraced by arms that find us.
Even when we are hidden from ourselves, we are touched by fingers that soothe us, even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us, even when we are too embittered to hear. We are loved by an unending love.
We are supported by hands that uplift us.
Even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us, even when we are too weak for meeting. We are loved by an unending love. Embraced, touched, soothed, and counseled. Ours are the arms, the fingers, the voices. Ours are the hands, the eyes, the smiles. We are loved by an unending love. Blessed are you, beloved one, who loves our people Israel.
Ki heim chayenu v'yorech yameinu, uvahem nehege yomam v'layla, v'yahavtecha al tasur mimenu li'olamim. Baruch ata Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. We bless the eternal God who loves God's people Israel. Hear, O Israel, the eternal our God, the eternal is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Page 65, please rise. Shema
Israel, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai, Echad.
Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Avaed. Please be seated. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha
V'chol levavcha, uv'chol nafshecha, uv'chol meodecha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi metzavecha, hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, V'shivtecha bevetecha, uv'lechtecha v'aderet, uv'shartecha, uv'kumecha, uv'shartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotefot b'nenecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot betecha, uv'isharecha.
Lynn? This is Marge Piercy's lovely rendering of the Via Havta.
Then I don't have to stand on my toes. So you shall love what is holy with all your courage, with all your passion, with all your strength. Let the words that have come down shine on your words and on our words and our actions. We must teach our children to know and understand them. We must speak about what is good and holy within our homes, when we're working, when we're at play, when we lie down, and when we get up. Let the work of your hands speak them. Let your eyes shine and see with their knowledge. Let them run in your blood and glow from your doors and windows. We should love ourselves, for we are of God. We should love our neighbor as ourselves. We should love the stranger. For we were once strangers in the land of Egypt, and have been strangers in all the lands of the world since. Let love fill our hearts with its clear, precious water, for all living with whom we share the water of life. Heaven and earth observe how we cherish and spoil our world. Heaven and earth watch whether we choose life or choose death. We must choose life, so that we and our children and our children's children may live. We must love the source of being and the power of life. Be quiet and listen to the still, small voice within that speaks in love. Open to it, hear it, heed it, and work for life. Let us remember and strive to be good. Let us remember to find what is holy within and without.
Thank you. Don't forget. Thank you. Page 81, or the transliteration is on 83. I've been trying to work this into the service every week. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'ha'amidenu ma'akenu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'ha'amidenu ma'akenu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. And turn back a page. Skipped Mi Chamocha. Don't want to skip Mi Chamocha. And can you get us started on that? That's
I
it.
lie, la lie, lie, I lie, la lie, lie, I lie, la lie, lie, I lie, lie, la lie, 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 I lie, lie, I lie, lie, la lie, 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 la lie, 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 I lie, lie, la lie, lie, la lie, 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 la lie, 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 I lie, 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 I lie, 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 lie. I lie, lie, lie. I lie, lie, lie. Mi chamocha ba'ali Madonai. Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot no sefele. Nora tehilot no sefele. Hi, lie, lie, lie. Hi, lie, 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 lie. Hi, lie, lie, lie. Hi, lie, 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 lie.
Veshamru
B'nei Yisrael
Hashabbat
Lasot et Hashabbat ledor tambarit olam. Veshamru B'nei Yisrael et Hashabbat Lasot et Hashabbat ledor tambarit olam. Beni vein, Bnei Yisrael, Bnei Yisrael, od hi leolam. Veshamru, Bnei Yisrael, et Hashabbat, Lasot, et Hashabbat, ledor tambarit olam. Ki sheshet yamim, asa Adonai, asa Adonai, et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, veshamru b'nei Yisrael, et hashabbat lasot, et hashabbat ledor tambarit olam. Uvayom hashi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Veshamru B'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam barit olam.
So we'll continue with the Amidah, page 91. Those of you who have need of the transliteration, please feel free. There'll be a few words that are different, but not that many from what's in our prayer book. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid hatilatecha. Eternal God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Please rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot u'Mevi Geula Livnei v'Neihem L'ma'an Shemo B'Yahava Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magin Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach u'Morid HaGashem. Mechakel Chaim b'Chesed, Mechayei Kol Chai b'Rachamim Rabim. Somech noflim v'rofei cholim, u'matir asurim, u'mekayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, u'mido melach, melech meimid u'mechayeh, u'matzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh kol chai. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated and start thinking about what you're particularly grateful for in a very difficult week, but still we have our personal gratitudes. Next week, I don't know that this is going to drive you to come to shul, but my talk next week is going to be about chesed, about kindness, about various dimensions of it, and I'll probably throw love into it as well. Kindness and love as essential Jewish values. So who's got something they want to share? Okay. Even for one person, I will descend the steps. And now I'm going to declare my candidacy for the presidency. Yeah,
Well, the reason why I had to leave the room was I saw I had a call coming in from my sister in Chicago, who we don't really talk that often, but I knew that her son was expecting her first grandchild.
Oh, his wife.
So I went out there to take the call, and it was 2 weeks early, a little girl, and named after my mother, too.
Which is, what's the name?
The name is, my mom's name was Shirley, so it's the middle name, so the name is Nora Shirley Lawson. Nice. 6 pounds, 13 ounces, even though she was 2 weeks early. So.
There you go. Yasher Koach. Mazel tov. Yasher Koach. That's a good one. That's a good one. Anybody else? Well, if we had, we'd have to turn it back for this. Anybody else? Anybody else?
I had a very happy FaceTime with my granddaughter in Los Angeles, well, someplace down there, and I met for the first time my first kitten baby who has a cone around her neck because she had a bad eye with pus coming out and something on her lip. So 2 weeks, and this went away, but this didn't go away. So now my granddaughter is lying in bed with, because that's where the kitten is all the time, rubbing her all over and cuddling because
How old is your granddaughter?
she's 21.
Oh, that makes a difference.
That makes a big difference because I'm having a FaceTime with her
Yeah,
that I don't see her all the time.
yeah, no, totally. My granddaughter, I was thinking 7, 8 years old. You're good. Bart,
Haven't got those any longer.
yeah. Bert, do you want to tell us about how grateful you are that the sukkah came down?
Yeah. Let me have the mic.
That was,
You guys want to take it home with you?
that was, that was the best sucker, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So our great sukkah, we had a great crew of 17 people, which included Ellen Summerson and the 7th grade students to help.
A little louder, into the mic.
Oh, excuse me, I'm not used to these things. Anyway, so the sukkah came down probably about an hour and 15 minutes, and it was a good crew, and we did it all kind of like, I call it Jewish ingenuity. We had a line where they passed it into the storage container, and went pretty quickly.
Like the Jews.
And we provided donuts and coffee, and the kids came and enjoyed them as well. So I have something to say that she probably doesn't know.
But it has nothing to do with the dissolution
This
of your
has
marriage.
nothing to do with the sukkah. This is. I saw pictures on not Facebook, but the other one, Instagram of her grandson graduating from Oxford University today.
Whoa. That's not too shabby.
No.
What did he read in? What did he read in?
The one you met.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
he was here for
That's
4
right.
months,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and there's still food left in Danville. Unbelievable.
So the
That's right.
cap and gown he wore is an exact replica of what they wore in 1629.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Did he get into law school? Where was he in that process?
Sorry?
Did he get into law school?
Oh, he applied to 14 U.S. law schools, but his main goal is Harvard, if he can get into Harvard Law School.
No,
He's
yeah,
wanted that since he's 8 years old.
no. Anybody else? Anybody else? So
I've got one.
We got what?
I've got one.
What?
That's me. That's me up
You
here.
go last when I come back.
Okay.
Oh, no, go ahead. You got a mic. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
So if you haven't heard, so Laura Grock, our first grade teacher, broke her ankle pretty badly on Halloween night, and can't teach for 6 to 8 weeks, and so that's not what I'm thankful for. However, Kim Thompson, our CUSED director, kind of stepped up, put up a meal train kind of to ask for volunteers to provide meals and also to donate money and set a target of $2,500. And so far today, as of today, it's up to $3,300 that the community has donated to help her through this time. So I'm just gratified that our CUSED coordinator really kind of worked hard to do this, and I'm just happy that I live in a community, member of a community that will do that for someone who's so important to the community.
And so let me push that. Let me push that just a little bit more, because the income that she's going to lose, she's not going to lose any income from her work at the temple, but her day job is substitute teaching, so she's not on salary, so she's not going to get any of that money. So the truth is, if you have it in you to make a little bit more of a donation, it's going to be very helpful. Very helpful in that. Debbie, then Betsy, and then depending on what Betsy has to say, I may or may not have something to say.
Well, I just wanted to add to what Jeff said, because not everyone really knows Laura Grock, but I work very closely with her, and she has just been amazing at introducing every young family in the area to Beth Chaim. She does Tot Shabbat, Torah Tots, teaches first grade, does PJ Library, and I think she was really overwhelmed by the support of the community to her, because she always does so much for everybody else, so it was really nice to see that.
Amen for that. Oh, yeah, something else.
So I just wanted to say that I think it's been a difficult week. the election didn't go the way you wanted it to, then it was hard, as it was for me. And then what happened in Amsterdam was very hard. But I have been thinking in the Saturday morning service, there's a prayer that says, "Thank God for making me a Jew." And I've really been thinking about that. And I am really grateful that I am Jewish, even though, and I was also thinking when you read that thing, Lynn, that said we have been strangers in so many lands, and yet we're commanded to love people. You know, we have not been very well loved as strangers in strange lands, but it really makes me so grateful that I am Jewish and that we have our values and our religion to guide us through everything. And so I'm very grateful for that. And then the other thing I'm grateful for is that my husband does not seem to have broken his elbow and seems to be back in commission.
So, oh yes, I'm a coming. See, it always starts. I have this insecure moment when I do this, and then somebody raises their hand. In this case, it was Debbie, and then of course several others. There you are.
Well, just in the spirit of Laura, I do read the weekly newsletter that comes out, and so the Adopt a Family, and I did pick several things, and I went to Target today and, you know, was getting stuff, and I go, why am I just getting the one thing, and just really got more things. And then what was sad, one of the little kids wanted Legos, and I went to just pull some Legos, and it was locked at the Target, and you had to put your hand under this thing. And I saw another couple. I said, how did you get your Legos? And she said, yeah. And I thought, how sad. And the husband was saying, yeah, they just take it, but you know, that it's a popular thing, Legos. But you know, I ended up buying more things because I think of my children who are adults and my grandson who's coming up, they just get, and they have, and they've always had. But here we have an opportunity for the families that we do, that this is really a need in this time, and I'm grateful that our synagogue does take this on. And so I bought more things that were on the list that I had signed up for, because I thought it's the time of year to just give and be grateful for every day. So
Did
thank
you get me that Tesla that I required? and requested?
No, I would not be buying it.
Well, yeah, you know, I have to say, I have to say that you know, Betsy and I become observers of vehicles in the Danville, San Ramon area, and the number of Teslas is astounding. It's just astounding. But first, I actually have two things I want to say, and I'm going to try and do both of these really quick. But some of you know that one of my goals for this year is to really help pump Shabbat up, bring more people in, and your attendance this evening is a great example of that. And as I sort of made this interest of mine clear, Kathy Blyer, I forget how she contacted me, walked into my office or called me or emailed me, but Kathy has formed a committee that has taken on multiple roles in working toward making Shabbat more interesting, more welcoming, and one of those is organizing Oneg Shabbats. And we now have tentatively, it's not definite, but tentatively Oneg Shabbat scheduled through the end of June 2025. And we owe Kathy, I owe Kathy a great debt of gratitude for that. And there are other things that she's done as well in this regard. So thank you for that. The other thing is kind of fun. Our family, how many of us are there? The 6 of us, for several years, have gathered in Bloomington, Indiana, where our daughter Ellie lives, for Thanksgiving. And usually about a month, you know, sometime in October, we start talking about the holiday. And I guess this week or last week, Ellie, our daughter, sent out the menu, which is always one of the important things. We dicker about the menu and who's going to prepare what, and we're still dickering about little matters of that, but it's part of the thing. Our daughter Talia usually comes in from Israel for Thanksgiving, but for various reasons she can't come in for Thanksgiving. So we're bringing her here for around Christmas, and as much as she hates to go to synagogue, I don't know what we did wrong, as much as she dislikes going to synagogue, we'll bring her here and those of you who are around get to meet her. Anyway, thank you all very much. Let's continue. Conclude the Amidah. Page 107, if you need it, Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom,
Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael.
Oseh Shalom bimromav,
hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'imru amen.
And as I said, I want to just take out our Shoah Torah, Holocaust Torah, read a few lines in honor of, or in memory of Kristallnacht. So Bert, and if you would we open the ark, please rise. According to Jeff, it's this one. Now just take it and lie it down on the table. And could you help me take it apart? You may be seated. Say again? It's okay. We just need to get it. So here we are right at the very beginning. This is what we read two weeks ago for Simchat Torah, I guess. Let's do part of day number 6. Vayomer Elohim na'aseh Adam b'tzalmenu ki demutenu. And God said, let us make the person in our image after our likeness. V'yirdu v'gdat hayam, and we'll conquer the fish of the sea, uva'of hashamayim, and the birds of the sky, uva'hema, and beast v'chol ha'aretz, and all the beasts on the earth, uva'chol haremes haromes al ha'aretz, and everything that creeps on the earth. Vayivra Elohim et Adam b'tzalmo, God created the person in his image, b'tzelem Elohim demutoto, b'tzelem Elohim bara oto, rather, in his image God created him. Zachar u'nikeva bara otam, v'yivarech otam Elohim, and God created male and female, and God blessed them. Vayomer lehem, and God said to them, Peru u'revu u'milu et ha'aretz v'kivshuha. Be fruitful and multiply and steward the earth. V'yirdu v'gdat hayam v'of hashamayim v'chol chaya ha'romes al ha'adamah. And take care of everything that lives on earth. Vayomer Elohim hine natati lechem et kol esev zera zorea asher al pnei kol haaretz. And I'm going to give you all the fruits to eat. And we'll go down a little bit. Vayehi chen. And God, and everything that God said about what they can do and what they can eat, God said it was so. And it was so. Vayira Elohim et kol asher asa v'hine tov ma'od. This is the end of all the creation, right? The heaven and the earth and the light and the land and the animals and the people and the fish. And he looked at it and he said, Hine tov ma'od. Hine tov ma'od. My God, God said, this is really good. Vayhi erev, vayhi voker, yom hashishi. And it was evening, and it was morning, day number 6. Thank you. I forgot that word in Hebrew. Day number 6. If you would, you guys would take care of that. Come on, you can take a sukkah down in 17 minutes, or 17 people, I'm sorry.
We need 17 people with the Torah.
So, just as they're wrapping it up, do you know what it means when a synagogue says we have a Holocaust Torah? Anybody not know?
I don't know.
Anybody not know? Okay. At the end of World War II, it was discovered that there was essentially a warehouse, I think in Czechoslovakia, I think in Prague, where they were. You guys can just keep. Please put it. No, put it back. Put it back. And where there were thousands of Torahs, part of what the Nazis had planned. Please rise. But the Nazis had planned to be part of a vast Jewish museum of the dead people of Europe, who of course didn't all die. And so what happened? There was an organization in England, I don't remember the name of it, that took responsibility of parceling out these Torahs to synagogues and I guess other Jewish agencies who wanted one. Basically, it's a long-term loan. We don't own this Torah. No synagogue that has a Holocaust Torah actually owns it, but it's a long-term loan. It's essentially, we do own it. And yeah, please be seated. And so Beth Chaim has one. I don't know. I've never seen a synagogue that doesn't have one. It's just a matter of making the arrangements and paying for it.
This actually belonged to a congregation in Walnut Creek that then kind of disbanded, and so Rabbi Dan was a kind of a young, rabbi in our community, and the Walnut Creek Synagogue asked him, he asked, "What are you going to do with the Torah?" They said, "I'm not sure. Do you want it?" And said, "Yes." So we.
Right, so that's
how
ours
gave it out. Yeah, that's how ours came here.
But most of them come through the agency of this organization in England. But I'm sure that's how the synagogue in Walnut Creek got it.
Yeah.
So we're going to do the prayer for healing in just a moment. But we're sending out. I don't think it went out yet. We're sending out an email, and it'll be in the happenings every week. We're trying to build a list of names of people who are friends of yours or family members who are ill, whose names you'd like mentioned on a Friday night. And of course, we'll still ask people present if there are names, but hopefully people who aren't present in the synagogue will get in touch with us, and we'll have this continuing, hopefully not terribly long growing list. But for now, I'll ask you, starting with the left, is anybody you care to mention? Yeah.
Mike Denenberg and Diane Denenberg.
Shirley Cullen and Ruby Cullen.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Sheldon Gordon.
Yeah.
Samantha Terrace.
Alicia Gutierrez.
Yeah.
Laura Gruff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ron Cullen, Doris Cullen.
Yeah.
Linda Randall.
Okay.
Can I say my grandkid?
Of course. Sure. Sure, we love animals in here. And speaking of animals, I'm sorry, what was the name of the woman who got hit in the eye last week?
Oh, Grace.
Yeah, Grace.
Grace Munoz.
Yeah, this was a freak accident. Last Sunday, we were blessing the animals outside. About a dozen, 10, I didn't count, but like 10 dogs and a cat and a rabbit, and lots of stuffed animals in honor of the blessing of the animals. It was a very windy day. We have these large umbrellas, which, in retrospect, it was a mistake, but nobody thought about this. And one of the umbrellas flew up from its mooring, flew across, hit a couple kids in the head, and hit Grace in the eye. She got several stitches and had a mild concussion. So that was freaky, and it happened as these things do in an instant. Somebody said, "Hey, watch out!" And this thing flew across the patio and hit 3 people. Nobody, Baruch Hashem, nobody seriously. You want to do El Na Rafan Allah? If you do, you got to lead it.
Oh, how about Misha Bar?
And we'll do the Misha Bar.
Okay.
What number is that? Page number 15.
I mean, I could do either one. Which one do you want to do?
Well, we already said we're going to do Misha Bar.
Okay. Misha Barach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us to find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, their renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
So, sometime late last night, on our feeds, both Betsy and mine, we started getting these announcements from the Jerusalem Post, from Haaretz, from the Times of Israel, not from the American press right away. The intimations of what was going on in Amsterdam. And it turns out it was an organized assault on the Israelis who went to see their team play the Amsterdam team in soccer. It was a planned event. And as the Israelis started leaving the stadium, they were assaulted by gangs of Muslims. Not clear. They probably were Dutch Muslims, Dutch Arab Muslims, and it was a really, it was an incredibly shocking moment in what I will say is Jewish history. The first time a major assault on Jews for being Jews, or Israelis for being Jews, or Jews as being Israelis, and they ran back to their hotel. They were hidden by some people. There was there was an Israeli Arab who brought them, who told a group of them where to go. They couldn't get on the subway. Israel sent a couple of planes. El Al increased their flights, and just shocking. Nobody was killed, fortunately. About a dozen people were hospitalized, and about 40 altogether were assaulted. And I guess by morning, they all got on a flight back to Israel. Now the Tel Aviv Maccabee team is going to Italy to play, and Israel is saying to the Israelis, don't go. You don't know what's going to happen there. This is really serious bad news. In the scheme of things, it's a relatively minor incident, but it's strong enough to call a pogrom because it was an organized assault on Jews for being Jews. And it's a really serious intimation of what life is like in Western Europe. There are about 30%. There are about 30 million Muslims who live in Holland now. Now, I'm not going to besmirch all the Muslims in Holland, but there's a clear group of them who are influenced by the Muslim Brotherhood that has an office in Amsterdam. The Muslim Brotherhood, in case you're not aware, is a relatively old organization. Its foundation goes back to the early 1900s in Egypt, and it is the granddaddy of Islamism. So when I speak against Muslim terrorists, I'm not speaking against all Muslims, but I'm speaking against this growing movement of Islamism, which is taking hold in a serious way in the Netherlands and in Germany and in France and in England, where the Muslim population is growing. Nothing wrong with that, but a lot of them are tied in with terrorism. A lot of them are tied in with terrorism. A lot of them go to mosques where the imams are radical Islamic terrorists, clerics, and so we don't know quite where this is going. But what happened last night was serious enough. So I received a letter. I'd like to say it came to me personally, but it didn't, from, as I said, Jonathan Greenblatt, who's the director of the Anti-Defamation League. Last night, after a soccer match in Amsterdam, there was horrific anti-Semitic violence in the streets. As supporters of Maccabi Tel Aviv were confronted by an anti-Israel mob in what was apparently a coordinated attack. We now know that it was a coordinated attack. Footage online shows fans being beaten by assailants using knives, clubs, and vehicles and running for their lives. They also had small explosives like firecrackers and cherry bombs, nothing stronger than that. This modern-day pogrom is particularly haunting because it comes just before the anniversary of the 1938 Kristallnacht pogrom. I am outraged that this has happened to innocent people who just want to cheer for their team, outraged that thousands of Jews were forced to scramble and hide as they feared for their lives. I am outraged that I am not surprised. Over the last almost 400 days since October 7th, we have repeatedly seen calls to globalize the Intifada amid simmering anti-Israel, anti-Zionist, and anti-Semitic outbursts on campus and in communities. I heard a litany today of recent anti-Semitic incidents, and it would curl your hair. Nobody's dying yet, but people are being shot, they're being beaten. A little yeshiva kid in Brooklyn was thrown off his bike and with an anti-Semitic epithet shouted at him. We have seen celebration of the terrorism of Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. While we welcome the strong condemnation from Dutch leaders, including the poignant statement by King Willem-Alexander, who said, quote, "Last night we failed the Jews again," unquote. More must be done by authorities in Amsterdam and indeed around the world to protect Jews from this violent hatred. Enough is enough. Sports officials around the globe in soccer and other sports must respond to this horrifying assault by committing to proudly playing with Israeli teams in Israel and around the world. Sports should be a place for bringing people together, and the answer to this hate and violence cannot be sidelining and canceling of Israeli teams and athletes, which sadly has been already happening since October 7th. We must all, individuals, governments, and civil society together, demand that the world rededicate itself to what never again means. There is no justification, no tolerance, no excuse for anti-Semitism, period. We will be engaging with officials in Holland, Israel, and in the sports world in the coming days, and we will keep you informed. Thank you for supporting the ADL today and every day. We fight hate for good. Sincerely, Jonathan Greenblatt, CEO and National Director. I want to say two quick things. First, Greenblatt has been the director now, I lost track of time, but let's say 7, 8 years. He's been the director of the ADL for 7 or 8 years. He got his start sort of in national politics by working in the Obama administration. I don't remember what he did. And he got, I think to some extent, justifiable criticism early on for coming across as a kind of an Obama liberal in the face of anti-Semitism when people thought stronger responses to certain incidents were required. But certainly since the beginning of the war, he and the ADL together have really stepped up to take a leadership role in fighting anti-Semitism. That's the one thing I want to say. The second thing, which may not have been known when he wrote this letter, the Mossad had gotten wind of what was going to happen and had contacted the Dutch government to let them know in hoping that they would prepare for this incident. And they did nothing. They did nothing. And also, it was reported that police didn't participate, but they did nothing. And I learned something today. I got to say this one other thing before I conclude. I learned something today that Dutch liberalism has been very permissive in, I don't know quite how to say this, in allowing people who have ideologies be part of the government and not to forswear their ideologies. And so there are a lot of cops, there are a lot of Dutch cops who are Islamists, sympathetic to Islamic terrorism, sympathetic to Hezbollah, sympathetic to Hamas. And that's one of the reasons why they didn't do anything. They were supportive enough so that they didn't interfere. I don't think they actually participated. So it's a bad time we're going into, and we need to be as alert as possible and maybe make a contribution of $1 or $2 to the ADL, among other places. So I'm going to take a breath, because I'm going to shift topics. Take a breath for just a moment. As Shalom Bayit's prevention educator, Melissa works with schools and congregations to present workshops for teens and adults about healthy relationships, violence prevention, and true consent. Melissa is a career Jewish educator whose work consists of a wide variety of settings, including synagogues, Jewish day schools, JCC summer camps. She holds a Master's of Education and a Baccalaureate of Hebrew Literature from the American Jewish University, down there in LA, that other big city. Melissa's focus has always been to help youth to build a strong sense of self and personal ethics, and she's excited to continue on this path, leading Love Shouldn't Hurt workshops, as well as presentations for adults, and we are adults, and we're going to be presented with. Melissa, please come forward.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I'm very honored to be here tonight, and I thank you all for coming out in the cold to come and hear this short talk. I particularly want to thank Sandy, who worked to bring me here this evening, and also to thank Rabbi Cohen for allowing me space in the service to come and speak with you. Is the sound okay? Can you hear me? Okay, you got to check that. All right, so I'm going to talk about the Parsha this week, which is Lech Lecha, but I want you to know I'm also going to talk about the importance of being a community together and helping each other. And really that's the theme of what I'm about to say. So this week we read in Genesis the Parsha Lech Lecha. God speaks to Avram and Sarai, who later become Abraham and Sarah, and tells them to leave their homeland and families and go forth to an unknown land. Our people's story begins with a journey, leaving behind the familiar and going forth into the wilderness. It's a theme often repeated in the Torah, perhaps because it speaks so strongly to a place that most of us have been at one time or another. This theme of our ancestors echoes today's story of many people who are leaving their home and their family for unfamiliar territory. Every day in every community, someone is fleeing from danger in her own home. People who have been abused by their intimate partner are faced with a difficult choice between familiar terror and the great unknown. What guidance can we offer? Some are told, go forth, leave your abuser. How could you possibly stay in that situation? Others are told, stay home, make shalom bayit, peace in your house. How could you possibly break up your home and your family? Let's take a look at the theme of Lech Lecha, going forth. The two most common responses to someone in an abusive relationship are not to believe her. Because after all, how could this possibly be happening to you? You've seemed so happy together. He's such a mensch. Or the Lech Lecha response, go forth, get out. Why don't you simply go forth, like Abraham and Sarah, and leave your home and your family for a new beginning? We think the second choice is obviously the better response. But it's tricky because inherent in the just get out response is the assumption that if you don't leave, something's wrong with you, or you're in denial, or you're making a bad choice, and therefore you deserve whatever happens. How many of us have been in any kind of situation in our lives that wasn't so good for us? A job where we were unhappy, or maybe not being treated right, a bad housing situation, a crossroads in our lives where we needed to make a change, but we couldn't. Change is hard enough, but leaving everything we know is terrifying. For domestic violence survivors, there are many complex barriers to leaving. Pressures to stay in the relationship can come from family and friends, financial concerns, and fear of retaliation. Some stay out of love, some stay out of self-blame, or because of the children, or out of a desire to keep their families together. Often the victim does not want the relationship to end, they just want the abuse to stop. Convincing apologies or promises to change after an incident of abuse effectively entice the abused person to give their partner one more chance. Finally, there is just the simple fact that facing the unknown and venturing away from all that is familiar can be frightening and dangerous. God told Abraham and Sarah to go forth into an unknown land, but also later tells Abraham that he will be a stranger in that land and his people will be oppressed for 400 years. 400 years before we find peace and safety in that unknown land. When there is no promise of tangible freedom on the horizon, it's no wonder it's hard to venture into the unknown. Statistically, the time when a person leaves the relationship in an abusive situation is the most dangerous time. Most domestic violence murders occur after the victim has left the relationship, when the abuser declares the ultimate act of control. Women who leave know that this is the time when they are most likely to be stalked, harassed, endangered, or otherwise threatened. Even for those not in physical danger, leaving the relationship is complex and difficult. It may require leaving behind all that is familiar: home, belongings, friendships, community, and their hopes and dreams. It's profoundly unfair, and despite this injustice, women are leaving every day. They are struggling to be single moms, to find a job, to rebuild their lives, to find Jewish spiritual community that is not tainted by their abuser's presence. Knowing all of this, can we really say to an abuse survivor, Lech Lecha, go forth? If she leaves, she may be homeless. It may be difficult for her to support herself. The violence may escalate even after she leaves. If she leaves, will we, as a community, support her? Will we believe her, even if her ex is a beloved member of our congregation? What is the price she will pay for her freedom? We have to consider the choices we are asking women to make. Domestic violence is a pattern of power and control, where one partner exerts the control over the other. It can take many forms: oppression by means of words or intimidation or emotional abuse, financial control, sexual coercion, threats, surveillance, manipulating children, isolation from family and friends, controlling resources, and, sadly, physical violence. These are all tools that an abuser uses to trap their victim in a cycle of fear. 1 in 4 Jewish women, 1 in 4 gay Jewish men, and nearly 1 in 2 trans Jews will experience abuse from a partner in their lifetime. At such a magnitude, we cannot name this violence as an interpersonal issue or a family matter, or even a women's issue. It is a societal and communal issue that requires a societal and communal response. How do we respond as a community when a domestic violence survivor tells her story? This is very important. We must listen and believe her. Validate and support her. We can ask, what do you need? How can I help you? We offer whatever we can give. Sometimes just asking the question is enough. Abuse survivors need safety and they need resources, but they also need to tell their stories. It is scary and it is painful to tell the truth about what happened to you, yet it is incredibly healing. If the person is still with their partner, talking can help them explore their options and sort through their feelings, and if they have already left, it can help them stay strong on the journey. And if they are thinking about going back, it can help them remember why they left and what goals they have for life in their new promised land. Telling the story makes it real. And so, when an abused person tells their story and we believe them, we are helping them to rename themselves, break the isolation, rediscover their true self, free from their abuser's control. This is what helps domestic violence survivors to break free of an abusive relationship. They will need a strong community of supporters to do that. No one can do it alone. What can we do to be that community of support? We can all venture together now into the new and unknown territory where domestic violence no longer exists. I invite each of us this Shabbat to consider what would it take, not only for us as a society to wage peace strongly, but for each of us as individuals. What actions can we take to create a just and peaceful land for our dreams? To anyone who is being controlled by your partner right now, I say, Lechi lach, go forth to the land of yourself, to the land of your soul, to find your true essence and know that you are good and you are worthy and you do not deserve to be belittled or mistreated. I cannot assume that you are able to journey forth to this unknown land right now, but if you choose to go forth, I promise, and Shalom Bayit promises, we will say, Hineni, here I am by your side, ready to walk with you wherever you need to go. To all you caring members of our community, I say, Lechi lach, go forth into a land that is perhaps unfamiliar. Experiment with something new. Push outside of your comfort zone. If someone you know is being harmed, tell them you are concerned for them. If you see a friend behaving in a way that you feel is harmful, tell them you think what they are doing is not okay. If someone confides to you that they are being abused, believe them. Walk with them on the journey. Tell them, Hineni, I am here with you. We don't have teens in the room, so I'm going to skip the next paragraph. But I am going to say, I bless you all for a true Shabbat Shalom. You may have true peace and wholeness in your hearts for this Shabbat and always. And thank you so much for inviting me to come and be with you this Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. Wait. We have a customer. You always have to shake the rabbi's hand. Thank you very much. That was very informative. And let me extend the drash about Hineni just a little bit more, because the full implication of the word, which is used several times in biblical literature, is not just here I am, but here I am and I'm ready to do what you need to have done. I'm here for you. There's a line in the book of Isaiah that we read on Haftarah, I think on Yom Kippur, but it might be Rosh Hashanah, I just don't remember off the top of my head, where God is saying to the Israelites, if you do this, this, and this, then Hineni, I, God, am here ready to be here for you. So if we here are not victims of domestic violence, and hopefully we're not, we still need to be ready to attend to those who are. So Melissa, thank you very much. That was a great talk. And in case I forget, on another topic at the ONEG, I want to ask you about who your favorite Hebrew writers are. We'll get to that. All right. Sandy, could you come up here, please? I did you wrong. You don't have a partner, but I'll be your partner. We're on page. You need to go over there. I'll be right there with you. We are on page 121 for the Aleinu. Please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol la'teit gedula li'otzer b'reishit. Keep going. Sorry. V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malachei hamalachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz v'yom hahu
Ve'yom hahu Yeh Adonai echad U'shemo echad.
Thank you. I'll help you down. Okay, please be seated. Can I have the yahrzeit list? Thank you. Thank you. Sure. We are on page 131 as we bring to mind this evening Barbara Baruchoff Weiner, sister of Nancy Orgel, Irving Goldstein, father of Sarah Goldstein, Ross Schulman, mother of Jeff Schulman, Sheila Fox, mother of Ben Fox, George Joseph Brownstein, father of Lynn Gross, Helen Moneda, mother of Aurelia Lubinsky, Sarah Bond, mother of Harry Bond, Susan Jordan, mother of Kristen Hayden, Lorraine Denenberg, mother of Barry Denenberg, Jeffrey Severin, mother of Sandy Severin, Art Klein, husband of Sally Klein, and Harry Novak, father of Sandy Shalom, and Rusty Audrey Cohen, mother of Jeff Cohen. We are on page 131. Please rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah b'alma divarach yirutei b'amlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chay yedechal beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach li'olam ul me'almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yit hadar v'yit alev v'yit halal shmei dekudisha b'richu le'elam in kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran b'yalma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shamaya b'chayim Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol Yoshvei Tevel, v'imru amen. May the one who makes peace, whose very meaning is peace and love and kindness, bring peace, love, and kindness down into this world for all who mourn and for all who live on this planet. And together we say, Amen. Please be seated. Another omission on my part, I apologize. Didn't write up an announcement sheet, but we've got I'm getting pretty good attendance for my Leonard Cohen class. You feel free to join in. You don't need to have come to previous classes to enjoy Leonard Cohen's particularly Jewish music and our discussion. We've had really good discussions both nights so far. Was it November 24th? There's a nice sign on your way out for the annual interfaith service in which Beth Chaim traditionally takes a part. Hopefully, this hasn't been set up yet. Some of the Chazanut group will perform, and I'll be speaking that night. And I guess that's a pretty big event. Does it get a good turnout? Somebody say no? A pretty good turnout. Yeah, and if you can put Shabbat of Thanksgiving on your calendar and come here, Judith and Drew are going to be conducting the service that night, and I'm glad they're doing it, so hopefully you have a minyan at least to enjoy their service. I understand Judith gives a very powerful Devar Torah. Any other announcements? We're not talking, the Sukkah's down, first Shabbos is over. First Shabbos was a big hit. And you know how I know it was a big hit? There are two reasons. 50 people and no chicken soup left. Big pot of chicken soup and it all went. And I have to say, I don't want to be too narcissistic about this, but the first Shabbos, like the Thursday or Wednesday before, I went into the kitchen. I wanted to navigate the kitchen, and I found out, as some of you know, we ain't got no stove. We got an oven. We got an oven and a warmer, but no stove. Mm-hmm. So I took a couple bucks out of my discretionary fund, and I bought what looks to be a pretty good quality one burner stove. And so the main reason I want to do the cooking here is because that 3 gallons of chicken soup weighs a lot, and it's always a little nerve-wracking driving it 5 miles from San Ramon. And we got no way to keep it warm. So there'll be, until people stop coming, there'll be a big pot of chicken soup and a couple of other things for Shabbat dinner. So we'll do that again in December. Any other announcements? Anything happening? What's the Brotherhood doing next week? Anything? You hiked this week.
Brotherhood's going to sponsor the Onig next week.
Is it next week already?
15th, yes.
Oh, we didn't. You and I got to talk about this at the Onig, but I think I know the answer, but we'll chat.
Brotherhood lunch on Wednesday.
Brotherhood lunch, I was going to look that up. It's going to be at Danville Pizzeria over Black Hawk up the road.
Yeah.
I think it's next Wednesday. At noon.
Yeah, I have a conflict. I have another lunch that day with Steve Harms. Yes, Debbie.
In Sisterhood, we have Rosh Chodesh next Tuesday night, at that time, 7 o'clock. And then the following week, on Monday, we have the Sisterhood lunch. And where's that at? Cocina.
That I'll probably be able to come.
And there's the book group the following night.
Yeah.
At Sandy Morse's.
Yeah, so we're pretty busy. And you know where you can find out about all of these things? The happenings. My favorite story is a guy says to me, "Are you teaching Torah?" And I said, "I've got my 4th class coming up this Saturday." Does he read the happenings? Nay. Also, by the way, I know that sometime you're going to, forgive me for being narcissistic. I'll try to avoid it in the future. But you may wake up at 2 in the morning and say, "I got to send that Cohen an email, but I don't know his email address." You know how you can get my email address? The happenings. I want to call Cohen, but I don't have his phone number. You know where you can get my phone number? The happenings. Everything is in the happenings. And Mel and Ellen spent hours every week. And I know a lot of you read it, and I'm being a little facetious here, but it's a very well done document, and everything that happens, everything Beth Chaim is in that document. So, Adon Olam, do you know Adon Olam?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I know Adon Olam.
Well, let's do that. Okay, page 133. A jaunty end of the service, a jaunty end to a sobering service.
Adon Olam.
Adon Olam.
Asher Malach.
Asher Malach.
B'terem kol.
B'terem kol.
Yetzir Nivra. Leit Nasa.
Leit Nasa.
Ve'etzvako. Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam. V'ha'ere. Kilot HaKol. Levado Yimloch Dora Adon Olam. Vehu haya, vehu hove, vehu yeh betifara, Adon Olam.
Louder next time. Adon Olam.
Adon Olam.
Asher Malach.
Asher Malach.
B'terem kol.
B'terem kol.
Yitzir Nivra.
Yetzir Nivra.
Le'et Nasa.
Le'et Nasa v'chetzeko. Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam.
Vehu echad.
Ve'en sheni.
Lehamshilo lahachbira.
Adon Olam.
Beli Reshit. Beli Tachlit.
Velo
ha'oz v'ha'misra.
Adon Olam.
Adon Olam.
Adon Olam.
Asher Malach.
Asher Malach.
B'terem kol.
B'terem kol.
Yitzir Nivra.
Yetzir Nivra.
Le'et Nasa.
Le'et Nasa v'chetzeko. Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam. Vehu Eli. V'chai Goali. V'tzor Chavli B'yetzara Adon Olam.
Vehu Nisi.
Umanos li. Menat kosi b'yom ekra Adon Olam.
Adon Olam.
Adon Olam.
Asher Malach.
Asher Malach.
B'terem kol.
B'terem kol.
Yitzir Nivra.
Yetzir Nivra.
Le'et Nasa.
Leit Nasa v'chetzeko. Azeh Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam.
Ve'ado Avki Ruchi.
Beit Ishan ve'era Adon Olam.
Ve'im Ruchi. Geviati. Adonai Velo
Ve'era Adon Olam.
Adon Olam.
Adon Olam.
Asher Malach.
Asher Malach.
B'terem kol.
B'terem kol.
Yitzir Nivra.
Yetzir Nivra.
Le'et Nasa.
Leit Nasa v'chetzeko. Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam.
Please rise, find a friend, a neighbor, a relative, someone you'd like to make a relative. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless all of us, and as we desperately need it, may God take better care of us. May God's light shine down upon this beleaguered planet and his beleaguered people with kindness and grace and love. May God teach us the ways of being aware of other people so that we can say to them, Hineni, that we're here for them as needed, and bring us a greater share of shalom, of wholeness into this world of peace. Amen. Shabbat shalom. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And don't forget your phone.